Every moment is the possibility of remembering to follow. To deny the schemes of the past, to deny the strategies that seem so familiar and that cloak themselves in variations to not look like schemes, to look like logic, to look like everything makes sense, but all the while the fear is running. Now is the moment of refusing fear to be the master, and to recognize fear for what it is, a defense against love. In every moment, the call to love is present. To hear the call for love is to accept a new way, the way to follow the divine teachings, every moment. The call to serve love and to heal through that divine service. To follow the masters of love. To emulate, to walk in the footsteps of love. Every moment, divine grace. Every moment, the yes to love. Humanity every beloved in humanity calls to remember love. Every moment, humanity looks for the direction of love. And each beloved has the calling to offer love, to offer peace, to offer faith. As you allow peace to have your heart, humanity will see that peace and be blessed through it. And the spark of love will be offered. Surrendering the future into the hands of God is the walk of courage, the walk of faith. To have a deep trust in the masters that have been sent to you, that you can place the future into the hands of God and discontinue the thoughts of knowing, planning, scheming, worrying, fretting. No longer being willing to make a separate life. No longer willing to believe that separation is viable. The willingness to accept holy union and only offer love, only offer peace. Offering the heart. Every moment. And in this moment, in perfection, the call to rest in God to allow the perception of the outside to be surrendered and to rest with God in the heart and surrendering the mind to be used only for love. And in this moment, breathing deeply and fully and affirming sacred breath as you accept sacred breath and focus on breathing deeply and fully, inviting the resting in God, letting go of all thoughts and just being here in the harmony and peace of love. Breathing. As you breathe in, consciously inviting sacred breath to fill every cell and to expand into the vibration of all the energy bodies. Surrendering all the energy bodies into the hands of God, no longer willing to be run by the energies of limitation and the belief of separation. No longer willing to have the energy bodies filled with concepts of battle. No longer willing to be at the effect of energies that have been developed and procured by a belief in battle. No longer willing to give the emotional body viability to be used to express and demonstrate upset, concern, disharmony. All of it surrendered. No longer willing to believe that sadness can really exist. No longer willing to believe that there is any loss or any concept of loss, any concept of scarcity, all made up in the belief of separation. Breathing deeply and fully, affirming. There is only one presence. It is the life force of God. Affirming and accepting this universe is all love. Nothing else exists. The sanctuary is filled with love because love is all that exists. Affirming the willingness that here in the infinite circle of love there is complete union, complete harmony, the willingness to embrace that harmony, to embrace that holy union. Breathing and resting in God. Breathing and resting in light. Breathing and resting in harmony. As you allow this prayer to pierce your heart, and as you allow prayer to fill your senses, as you allow prayer to become your companion in every moment, praying to remember, praying to only convey love, praying to open to the strength of truth and to no longer be tempted by the ramblings of the mind, praying for the miracles of love to come into awareness, to join in the divine miracle of love, and say yes to healing, yes to remembering. Show me the way. I will follow. Oh, my Father, give me strength, give me courage on this road, to be a child of yours on earth and walk the path the Masters show. Oh, my Mother, help me love, give me comfort to be aware, to obey these sacred teachings. It was your Son who showed the way. Oh, my Master, your compassion can see through this pain. For it was you who came to earth to release us from these chains. O my Father, I am yours. Give me comfort to be aware. Send your angels here to guide me on this sacred path of the sun. O my Father and my Mother, who rule the world of love, send your angels to receive me through the gateway of pure love. Your wanting is being called to be activated and to stay activated through prayer, through truly wanting to be led, to truly want to step back and let love lead, to be the humble servant, to be the learner in the world of due awareness, to truly want transformation, to truly want to see the truth and to step into that trusting empty space where all knowing disappears, and resting, resting, resting in love, in God, allowing transformation to have its way with you, resting. And as you rest, as you allow, as you trust, the realization can open. The awareness can open that the dawn has arrived resplendently. Are you available for it? It's always occurring. But it's in the quiet. It's in the stillness of resting, trusting. The dawn arrives of this new day. My Father is here. That is where He is. My Mother is here. All divine beings are here. The dawn has arrived, illuminating resplendently the new day. My Mother is here with open arms and with her roses of crystal purity, and the heart becomes resplendent and blooms with all this love. And my Mother is here. She is. Yes, she is. My Father is here in great jubilation. Are you available? Are you available to the stillness, to the light, to the love? Are you breathing into your heart and allowing love to have its way with you? Resplendently illuminating, it is dawn and the sun has risen. In the resplendence of the divine light, our Blessed Mother brings us the awareness of love itself. Are we available? The sun has risen, illuminating. Let's all awaken and accept the light of all masters, of all teachings, of all truth. Opening the heart to the love that is here and offering this love, this light to every beloved. Every moment, the dawn has arrived. Amanhecer, esplandeceu. Amanheceu, oh novo dia. Meu Pai é lá, ela que ela está, minha mãe está, é o seu altar. Amanheceu, iluminou, resplandeceu o novo dia. Minha mãe está lá, de braços abertos, e suas rosas, puras e de cristal, resplandeceu o coração de saboroso, todo é seu amor. Minha mãe está lá assim, lá está meu Pai, em grande júbilo, resplandeceu, iluminou, e alvada o sol nasceu, no resplandor da divina luz. Nosso Mãe nos traz, ó menino Jesus. O sol nasceu, iluminou, vamos receber o Salvador. Ele é menino, ele é o amor que agora chega aos corações. Love is always wanting to commune. Love is always wanting to direct, to teach, to illuminate. Always available. But the place of availability is in the following. The place of availability is in the asking. The place of availability is in the resting. In the constant letting go. The constant relinquishment of what you thought you knew. Everything that's come from the past is being called to be dropped, to be let go, to be questioned, to no longer have loyalty to false identities, to no longer give your loyalty to a false purpose of getting, of proving, of winning, of being right, of believing that there is danger, of believing that there is scarcity. Allow the light to dawn. Allow the new day to be in awareness as you let go of what you thought you knew. Effacement is a golden gun. Losing identity, it was not easy to hold it against my head and fire. I needed great faith in my master to suffocate myself with his holy bag, full of truth. It is the leap of faith, and it is essential. I needed great courage to go out into the dark, tracking God into the unknown, letting go of what was known in order to follow. and not panic or get lost in all the startling new scents, sounds, and sights, as healing was unraveling all perceptions, all concepts, all ideas of the past that were completely upside down and inside out and have no truth. Or lose my temper tripping on those scheming night and day around me instead of bringing love and forgiveness to every beloved and seeing the Christ. Effacement, losing identity, is the emerald dagger you need to plunge deep into yourself upon this path to divine recovery. The willingness to recognize you are in the divine hospital, in the hands of the divine physician, truly wanting to recover from the false identity of separation. You need to plunge this dagger deep into yourself upon this path to divine recovery, upon this path to God, trusting, truly trusting that you will not be without, but that you will recognize the light as you rest in God and allow and follow and pray and choose peace and harmony. There is a belief that everyone carries, which is in itself a strange contradiction, much like all the insanity of the ego. The contradiction is that every beloved believes that their identity, their story, is the big one, is the one that is tremendously difficult, tremendously deep and horrible and beyond comprehension. Every beloved holds this. At the same time, as this insane belief is running, the belief in scarcity is running right alongside. And yet both are made up. Every beloved believes that there is not enough. Every beloved believes that they are without and that they must get, that their purpose for being here has been to get. These mistaken identities are completely without truth. So completely not true that it has absolutely no resemblance to love. Every beloved has believed in their story, and in their story, their identity, they carried the concept, every beloved has carried the concept that you would turn tragedy into victory within the world, that you would turn horribleness of the past into triumph within the identity. Every beloved has believed that they would prove their goodness within the world, that they would prove their worth within the world, that they would prove that they were right within the world. And it is the great leap of faith. It is losing identity as the golden gun, to put an end to the misery of trying to win within the world. The element of trying to get is so pervasive. This belief is an enticement. If you have believed that you don't have, then logic would tell you that you should have. But within this world, there is no having. There is no resolution. You are the light of God. But your acceptance of this divine truth is the relinquishment of the journey itself that you've walked unconsciously in this world, and all that you've built as an identity, trying to improve. You can't improve. Perfection cannot be improved. To live in a pretense that you are going to get better through your identity is to not recognize the need for the golden gun. It's to live in a separate world that you started with in the belief of incarnation, and to continue the same journey, and maybe trading one identity for another. But your trading is not trading up. It's trading for another false identity. In the spiritual journey, there is a agreement of a spiritual identity, of wanting to make a better identity. every beloved who has awakened to the reality has recognized that that spiritual identity was a ruse. That spiritual identity was another shiny object to use different words, different identities, but all being still the same, trying to prove worth, trying to get. The dawn has arrived. It is always the resplendence of the light. There's nothing for you to do to become that light. You are that light. But to use the golden gun is to acknowledge, no, it was not easy to hold it against my head and fire. But that's faith. That's faith that will take you to letting go of all that you're carrying in your head of lies that you've made up about a separate self, separate identity. To open the heart, to offer love, to offer peace, to offer faith to everyone, is how faith becomes stronger within. What is it to offer faith to another? It's being so very careful, being so very honored and respectful with each beloved that you don't want to offer anything that isn't truly the light of God. And this calling becomes a deep commitment, a very deep commitment, a devotion, that you will not allow the thoughts of the past to have their way with you, that you hold yourself sacred, that you hold yourself with honor, that you hold yourself with the respect of the masters that have been sent to you, and that you follow that divine lead. There's a saying that has been in many ways made light of. The teaching is, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus say? What would Jesus offer? And this is the truth of every master. Every master has followed in the footsteps, asking that question. Is this something that God would offer? Is this something that God would say? Is this something that God would think? What would Jesus do? What would the Buddha do? What would the Buddha say? What would every master say? When you begin to ask those questions, you're no longer giving your allegiance to what you think you know, because you're stepping back and truly wanting to follow, to offer. Now, what the ego will do is it'll play a game. Be aware of the games that the ego plays. It's the purpose of being aware and wanting to be aware of the ego games is because in that moment of wanting to be aware, you are affirming your self-respect, your self-honoring of what you truly want. And you are embracing loving kindness and offering loving kindness because you want to offer to every beloved peace and harmony and faith. It's a beautiful journey of only offering love. With every situation, in every day, there is an opportunity to really question deeply, what am I here for? What is the purpose of my communion with another beloved? And to question deeply, am I trying to get something? Am I looking for something and sneaking it in through spiritual fabrications? Am I putting it in another costume, but still wanting to get? The addiction to getting, and it is an addiction, it works just like every addiction. It gnaws. It becomes a perception of need to get, reassurance to get, to prove that you are liked, to prove that you are wanted, to prove that you are belonging. But all the while there is the belief that's running that addiction that says, I am without. There isn't enough. And the addiction takes over. That is why the golden gun eventually becomes essential, because all these made-up thoughts in the mind, the beliefs, have to be refused. That's the golden gun. It's the invitation to God to have your mind, to take your mind, that you are no longer willing to make a separate world with private thoughts, private identities and knowings, but that you want to be free. You want to be free of the mind's wanderings, of what it thinks it knows and how it works and what it's going to get. All of it. surrendered into the hands of God. I needed great faith in my Master to suffocate myself with his holy bag full of truth. To suffocate, leaving no breath for illusion. To be suffocated with truth. To not allow even a moment of illusion to have its way. I needed great faith in my Master, absolutely. The purpose of a master, the purpose of a teacher, is to lead the way, is to correct, is to bless, and to comfort with the truth. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus say? What would my Master say? What would the Divine Mother say? What would the Divine Mother offer? More knowing from the past? To dazzle and impress someone with what you know? This is insanity. To continue wanting to get when everything is promised to you that it is already within. Does the ego try to prove to you that it's terrifying to go within? Of course. The ego is dependent on you believing that you're a body, and the body is outside. The body is an extension of the outside world. Within is where spirit lives. Within is the heart. All day is the calling to be suffocated in the bag of truth. Not wanting anymore to feed the addiction of wanting to get, of believing in scarcity, and thereby being a victim. And in the belief of being a victim, you have to, in that believe that you are separate from God. There are no victims in God. And victims don't exist. Can that really be accepted? There is no such thing as a victim. Now that is blasphemy to the world of form and change. To the form of separation, that is blasphemy. That is cruel. That is uncaring. Everything in your identity is upside down and inside out. It has no truth. Everyone has believed themselves to be the most elaborate victim that has ever been on the face of the earth. None of it is true, and that has to be accepted. You have to suffocate in the bag of truth. It's essential. And the way home is to pray and ask and be led and to question the games that the ego plays. And believe me, it is games. And they are insidious, and they are an never-ending supply, if they're fed, of distortions and upside-downness and untruth. But there is no one that is not capable of healing into the truth. Does it take courage? Yes. I needed great courage to go out into the dark, thinking and tracking God into the unknown. Tracking God into the unknown. To stop believing the communication through the body of the ego that screams lack, upset, fear constantly, suspicions, caution, sadness, vengeance, anger, grievances. To refuse to accept these beliefs is the way to be tracking God into the unknown. Your known can't go with you. You can't bring what you think you know into the unknown. It's not possible. That's where the courage is called for. Yes, it's courage to question, what am I trying to get? From moment to moment, really, what am I trying to get? I really, really, really want to recognize what I'm trying to get. I really want to expose these old strategies and games that are being played and that I believe I'm a victim of, but that I don't have a choice. Every beloved has the choice to remember the truth that has always existed. Always existed. Nothing else is true. Is it a leap of faith? Absolutely, it's a leap of faith. Absolutely. I needed great faith in my master. I needed great faith in all the teachings. To suffocate myself with this holy bag full of truth, I needed great faith. And every beloved that has awakened needed that great faith. Absolutely. And every beloved master, every beloved who woke up, recognized in waking up that other than faith, trust, surrender, I didn't need to do a thing. I just had to deny the lies and follow. But denying the lies is the place of great faith. It's the empty space. When you are swinging from the trapeze and your prayer is, show me the way, I want to remember God. And you're swinging on that trapeze and you have to let go of what you know. And the other trapeze bar that's swinging from the other direction that is for you is God, is the memory and remembrance of God. And that space in between, when you let go of what you know and you go for the other bar that is God, that empty space is all about faith. It's all about trust. It's all about surrender. And everyone will let go of that bar. It's just a matter of when. You can delay it by continuing to play games with the ego. And no one can not play games with your ego except you. There isn't any master that's going to call you out. You have free will. You have free will to choose love or to choose fear. But no one is not capable. And no one knows what your journey needs to look like. Some beloveds believe so strongly that they need to wallow in the mud of pain and suffering until finally enough. And everyone has their enough place. Enough. It isn't God's will for you to suffer. It isn't God's will for you to wallow in the mud. God's will for you is happiness and peace. To recognize that putting the golden gun to your head is a relief, not a death sentence. It's the beginning of life, of letting go, of acceptance. I needed great courage to go out into the dark, tracking God into the unknown. To the ego perception, it seems dark because you have been so accustomed to knowing, controlling of what you think you know, that to go into the dark, or what seems to be the dark, there's a resistance that the ego puts up because it wants to keep knowing. And it wants the instant gratification of knowing. This is part of the addiction to knowing, is wanting the payoff. So many beloveds in the spiritual journey are hooked into, I want experience. I want the experience of feeling good. I want the experience of knowing what's on the other side. As soon as there is an I that wants the experience, it's the recognition that that I is just the ego wanting back in control. To let go of the trapeze bar. To track God in the dark is to enter into a deep trust that is the healing itself. To accept that you're not right about what you think you know. And it's the gloriousness of peace and joy and harmony that you open to. But you can't open to that when you are filled with knowing from the past. Or if you're looking for an experience to assure the ego that you're safe and that you're in control, it will continue to be upside down. And as you're walking into this unknown territory of surrender, that you don't panic or get lost in all the startling new scents, sounds, and sights. Because what you have known will not come with you. And there is no control, nothing to control in the light of love. Does the ego want to know? Yes. And when you step into new sights and new sounds and new awarenesses, there's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing to wrap anything around. Oh, it's like this. Oh, it's like this. Oh, I know, it's like this. No. It isn't. Opening to love isn't at all like this in the belief of separation, in the belief of being embodied, in the belief of death, in the belief of getting, in the belief of the past, that there is anything of the past that was real. The willingness to let the past disappear. I don't know who I am. I don't know what anything is for. I don't know what anything needs to look like, what it means. There's nothing here that can be held on to. Only love is real. You are that love. You are that light. But to accept that without knowing is the leap of faith. To accept when the urgency comes up in the ego of wanting to get, of getting from anything, anyone, just wanting to get. The willingness to turn to the truth and accept, I cannot be without. It's not possible that I can be without. I am the light of God. I've been promised. It's only a promise because I don't know it yet, but I accept it. And in that promise, I ask, how can I serve? What would Jesus say? How would Jesus look at this? How can I honor each beloved with truth, honesty, honoring? This is to suffocate in the truth, to not allow the old habits the old identity, the false identity, to have its way with you. This is about a rejection of the lies of the past. And the happiness to accept and to track God. Tracking God into the dark. And then realizing what you thought was dark was light. Mm-hmm. Because your knowing didn't know anything. Or to lose my temper tripping on those scheming night and day around me, having judgments, having opinions, having ideas about others, what they should do, what they should be like, what they can give you, all made up. All made up. That you're only there to learn to offer love. Only offer love, harmony, joy, peace. Nothing else to offer. It is only because you think you can run some little part or deal with certain aspects of your life alone that the guidance of the Holy Spirit is limited.